What is going on, Nuggets Nation NBA fans? My name is Tom Leuthner. Welcome back to Nuggets Today, presented by FanArch. We have some topics to talk about, and I didn't want to cover the Summer League just yet. I know there was a game at the time of this recording, and I know that some people aren't too fond of it, so I will talk about some of the players maybe next episode. I've been covering EJ Liddell a lot, Boo Booey. Some guys I think should be on the roster. Obviously, I'm at the point where I don't think Hunter Tyson should make the roster, but I mean, that's management's decision on if they want to keep him or if they want to give that spot up to somebody like Amir Coffey, somebody like Malcolm Brogdon, Josh Okogie, if he ends up being released officially, and if Denver wants to target him. So the first thing I want to cover is somebody that is actually on the Nuggets bench already, was there last year or last 2 years, and I think could be a major factor in this team's success, especially next year when it comes to their depth, and that is Julian Strawther. Now, I was watching some videos. The Nuggets Instagram posted it, and I was taking a look, seeing what I could find. And it seems that the Nuggets have Julian Strawther working in the lab. And I know he's been saying that he wants to stay in Denver and continue to work out there the entire summer with occasional trips back home. But it didn't look like he was just working out, but it looked like they were working on him finishing at the rim along with Peyton Watson. But I think that's super interesting because if they make Julian Strawther, a three-tool offensive player, I think that's going to be a massive factor in Denver's depth. Right now, he is obviously a lethal shooter, a pretty decent shot creator. Does need to work on his defense, and like I've covered, I think that will be the help of Tim Hardaway Jr. and Bruce Brown will be amazing when it comes to his development in that aspect. But again, I think that if he's able to finish around the rim more and become more of a shot creator, especially with the lack of backup point guard to this point, then Denver's going to have a massive upgrade because right now I guess he's the backup two or third string two off the bench, maybe the third string three, depending on what they're going to run with their roster. I'm interested to see with Val and Deron Holmes there if Peyton Watson does take a step up to the three, and you have Tim Hardaway Jr. and Bruce Brown as the 1 and 2, and maybe Strawther coming in on that third string lineup. So if he is able to become a player who can develop and finish more at the rim as well as be a shooter for Jokic, I think that's a massive W for Denver, and it will be a massive upgrade for their third string coming off the bench. Now, another acquisition, like I was just talking about, Tim Hardaway Jr. potentially helping Strawther. Another acquisition by Denver is obviously Cam Johnson. Now, I was watching the Dog Talk podcast. If you haven't checked it out, you should, especially this most recent episode with Cam Johnson and KCP. And I think that it was a great episode. I think that it was, well put together. And it was very intrigued. I was very intrigued before even watching it to see what KCP had to say with Cam Johnson and seeing what the conversation was like and based off of. Especially with KCP being a former player, almost playing the same kind of role that Cam Johnson is, which is a backup role to Jamal and Jokic's two-man game. And there were some things to speak about. They were speaking about what it's like to play in Denver, and Cam Johnson made the comment that Jokic is the best player in the world, which is a massive, great sign for Denver as a guy who's coming in off of an organization who wasn't really successful to constantly speaking about winning a championship and being a contender strictly because of one specific guy. And I think that he helps Denver sort of draw the attention away from Nikola Jokic, whereas KCP didn't as much. KCP was more of a catch and shoot guy, and he admitted that. Cam Johnson is a guy who can play off the dribble, and they broke down what it was like playing with Jokic or playing against Jokic. And KCP was saying that Cam Johnson is more of a, dribble off the dry or dribble off the handoff player, whereas KCP is going to sit in the corner and shoot threes. And I think it was interesting because Cam Johnson was sort of taking tips from KCP, and KCP was feeding Cam Johnson some tips on how to play off the dribble drive and how to play with Jokic and how to not get frustrated. And something that I thought was interesting, I guess, was KCP stated that Cam Johnson will not be playing with MPJ, and the one thing about Denver was that playing with MPJ, you get frustrated because MPJ is not going to give the ball up, and as great as he was as a shooter, and he said that it gets frustrating, and KCP was saying it would affect him on the defensive end on the court, that once MPJ let the ball fly, even if he made three in a row, you sort of get frustrated and you're not playing as physical and as good of defense as you would be if you were getting the ball more and you were taking more shots. So to see that Cam Johnson's replacing that role is a great thing, because Cam will not have to be in that position where he's frustrated coming down the court, because I think there will be a lot more ball movement now, and there are a lot more mouths to feed, especially than there were last year. So I don't know if there's going to be a guy who's just going to chuck up as many shots. I think that Jokic is probably going to average more assists, maybe less points, and score when he needs to. And Tim Hardaway is going to be a big piece. Strawther will be a big piece. Brown will be a big piece. Bruce Brown will be a big piece. Aaron Gordon will be another big piece. Jamal. So there's a lot of mouths to feed. JV will be a big piece off the bench. So there's a lot of mouths to feed, like I said, in Denver now. And I don't think they will have to deal with the shot chucking of Michael Porter Jr. Now, JV has talked about last year, made a comment at least, and it was a funny comment. So he had said last year, if he could choose any team to compete for a championship as a backup center, who would it be? This is a 2024 interview, and he said, quote unquote, "I'd give Jokic a break for about 7 to 12 minutes." So I think it's funny, and I think that maybe that's why Denver made the push to go out and get him, is because they saw something like this. They saw the signs that he wanted to be a backup for Denver and for Jokic. And like I said, Adelman talked about it. I talked about this in my last episode. Adelman talked about it and said that in the minutes, or in the games that Jokic doesn't play, he will be taking over those minutes. Now, like I said, I think that JV is a good backup. I think that he can play. I think Adelman has a good game plan for him when he's getting in the game. I just hope that the whole contract situation doesn't bother him, and he is a professional about it and will continue to play at the level that we all know he can play at. And now this last topic is a brand new topic I wanna have, and I want to implement into this channel, and that is the cue of the day, and that is the questions of the day. Now, I want everybody that has any questions about how I feel about certain things to leave them down below, and ask me any kind of question I will answer the next episode. So I will start off. Shout out to John Vicari, one of my best friends. He is also an on-air talent down in Michigan. So he told me to bring this topic into it, and his first question to me was actually, if you could bring back, and the Nuggets, in my opinion, the Nuggets can only wear one specific jersey for the rest of the time I'm able to watch them, what jersey would it be? And I would have to say, obviously, I'm going to go with the throwback baby blues. And I'm, looking back, I would give them any year from the 03 years to the 2010 years. I don't mind. The throwback baby blue is what got me into being a Denver fan when I was a kid. Knew nothing about basketball, and I was probably about 4 or 5 years old. Loved the color, and I fell in love with Denver from there. So I would say anywhere from the years of 2003 to 2010. Let me know what you guys would, what jerseys you guys would hold down below. Let them have the entire year. And if you have any questions you want me to answer, or my opinion about anything, leave that down below in the comments. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys today, Nuggets Nation. I will catch you guys next episode. Thank you for watching. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I'll catch you guys next episode.